you doing, everybody? My name is Dean Olson. I am a songwriter, radio host, and producer from Orange County, California. And I'm really just an average guy who loves to make music. But when I get behind a microphone, I become the StrongWriter on the radio, helping songwriters and artists keep musically fit. And the way I like to do that is through faith and hope and encouragement, by taking in the stories and experiences told to me by my wonderful guests, and by learning from the best in the business and passing it along to you. And now I want to welcome you to another beautiful day for a fantastic show. So let's get started by paying a visit to some fine folks down in Atlanta, Georgia. This good-looking couple you're seeing on the screen with me is a married musical duo called the WAYMORES. It is Willie, Heath, Neal on the left-hand side of the screen, and Kira, Annalise. They are known for their flavor of country music billed as honky tonk, Americana. And they have a new album due to be released on April 8th, 2022, called The Stone Sessions. I got one right here.
Yeah, look at that.
Beautiful photography on it. We're going to talk about that. Let's give a warm welcome, please, to the WAYMORES.
Hi there.
Oh,
You're clapping.
that was a wave or clap. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's a great intro. And now that's all I got written down. And the rest is, I hope I don't screw up, because these two obviously have their you-know-what together. And if you look carefully, Willie's got himself a guitar.
A guitar.
And look at that. By the way, what do you play, Willie?
That's a Recording King. I don't know if all of y'all are hip to the Recording King, but man, it's an amazing guitar.
Kira got it for you.
Kira got this for me. I've been wanting one for a long time, and for my birthday, it's Christmas before last, Kira got us a little endorsement with them and got me, and man, they sound fantastic. Right before we set up to do this, Kira was noodling on my guitar, and she's got this $5,000 Gibson back here.
Nice.
And she went, I want one of the Recording Kings. And I went, yes, ma'am.
I started playing on his guitar when we were waiting to do this, and man, it sounds so good.
It is an incredible guitar.
Very small percentage of what we paid for the Gibson. So I definitely want to end up with one eventually. I told him I was just going to take his, but I don't know how he feels about that.
And a funny thing about this guitar is she got it for me for a Christmas. Took it out of the box. We had a New Year's show, started playing it. I've never had it set up. I've had it over a year now, and I've never had it set up.
It's a great,
came out of the
really
box.
Great guitar.
Yeah, it's really, really good guitar.
Where do you get a Recording King? Is that like a private company? Can you go down to your local guitar shop? And
I'm pretty sure they're out of Nashville, but I just went to recordingking.com. We actually ended up, some friends of ours in Pensacola had an artist deal with them. They're really kind to working artists.
Yeah.
And they're already inexpensive guitars already. Just to the regular public. But I got an email from one of our friends in Pensacola that's a touring artist, and emailed our rep there, and he was all but happy, just so happy to give us the deal and say, absolutely, I can send you this for this price. And it came with a case, and the shipping was free, and they're really, really kind to touring artists.
Yeah, a lot of folks are playing them too. Justin Townes Earl played them, and I've seen him in movies a couple times, like the Ballad of Buster Scruggs, when he's riding into town singing. He's playing a Recording King.
Well, that's nice. But Kira's guitar, that Gibson, can I see it just a little bit? That pick guard's nice little design there. You got something different going on in the.
We had this is all injuries from Europe, our Europe tour.
Don't look at that, but everything else is really pretty. It's a J100, so it's jumbo body. I had wanted one of these for a lot of years, and I ended up 100 years ago signing with some god-awful manager, and this was kind of like a signing treat, and I got rid of him and kept the guitar.
That's an even trade, I think.
Yeah.
Depending on how
I paid for it in pride, I tell you.
Wow, around $5,000. That's more than my first car when I got it.
Right?
It's more than our house cost.
Yeah, exactly. But
our trailer,
I'm sure I probably could have gotten two of them, 2 cars for that price anyway. But that's neither here nor there. But listen, you two have a nice album. It sure is different. There's a little throwback feel to it. I guess that's is that partly you, Willie? Is that sort of the stuff you kind of grew up on?
Yeah, you could say.
You got a nice influence there.
Man, you can't say that there's when we're in the studio, I take control mostly of that. That's our, Kira and I have separate jobs. Kira handles all the business and all of that stuff, which God bless her for that.
Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. And I get to kind of make the records, but
nice.
You're right. It is we're very pleased with it. It's a different world trying to make a record in this, quarantine environment. So we can get into more of that later, but we're very proud of the record. Yeah. And it does sound a little vintage and a little modern.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. You're definitely bringing in the modern, especially with the language. That's probably the most shocking thing. You usually hear it. Most of these groups I talk to, especially if they're playing this style of music that you're doing that harkens back to a different era, they flower up the language a little bit so it don't sound as all these flavors, and you guys chose salty, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It's sort of plain spoken, and you almost think, oh wow, these guys are writing from their heart. I assume this is you guys writing, except maybe a couple of exceptions.
Yes, sir. We wrote everything on there. We're big fans of even on our first album. We're surrounded. So many of our peers and friends are such incredible songwriters. We are all about always taking a song from a friend of ours here or there, and we're doing one of their songs. So there's a few songs on here that were, friends of ours wrote that we did, but 90% of the album is our material.
I saw one on there was called Caught. And that one sort of set itself. That was written by somebody else, right? A friend of yours, or?
Yes, Dale. So Dale is actually really a huge influence to both of us, and really big in our genre. Dale Watson. That song was originally put out on his 1995 album called Cheatin' Heart Attack. And when I first met Willie, he turned me on to one of Dale's albums called Truckin' Sessions.
Yeah.
And man, I just was immediately hooked and fell in love. And so we wore like all of Dale Watson's albums out. And Willie had the pleasure of, before he and I met, he did some dates with Dale in the early 2000s, I think. Yeah. And then we've opened for Dale. We've both sat in with Dale. And then I just kind of one day got the courage up to ask him to play on this album. I first asked his blessing that we could cover that song. Yeah. And then I asked him if he would play lead on it, and we were both shocked and just thrilled that he said yes.
And that it happens to be like a cheating song, right? Isn't that what
absolutely,
yeah.
If you've ever cheated or been cheated on, that is that's a good one.
Yeah.
Since we stand on that particular song, there's another. I'm freezing up here. Katie Shore.
Katie Shore.
Yeah.
Katie Shore plays fiddle for Sleep at the Wheel. Exactly. Right? So she happened to be. We had this kind of whirlwind day of shows in Austin when we were on tour back in, I think, March of last year. And we wound it up at the Continental Club in Austin, and Katie was playing fiddle for Dale on that show. And I got up and sang Caught with them. And Katie and I got to talking, and we continued the conversation in the weeks to follow. And so when Dale put his lead track on, I just shot her a message and said, any chance you feel like throwing some fiddle on this? And again, stunned and thankful that she said yes.
And one of the great things about, because technology today, making albums is a double-edged sword, but one of the beautiful things about it is, hey, you're all the way in Austin and we're in Atlanta. Would you like to play fiddle on this record?
Yeah.
It's the same with Dale. He was in Memphis, and they're like, absolutely, I will email you my part.
Yeah.
I guess it's been done that way for a while too, but it still works. I mean, I guess the ideal way is let's all get in, come on down to the same city and let's do it all together. But
yeah,
that's the way you always have cut out in your mind.
Yeah,
but it can't always happen that way.
Pandemic sort of made that more of a reality for people. They were kind of forced to come together in different locations.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is that working from home, even if you're a studio musician.
Yes.
Yeah. I've talked to a lot of people since that happened, and everybody has a little story. Says, our career was cooking, or we had a project going, and then March 2020 happens, and then fill in the blank. Something happened, either slow it down, and it's kind of like that's where your metal is tested, I think, and rubber hits the road, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What was your story? Were you on an upswing and then things came to a halt? Did you have a plan B in place?
Man, in this industry, there is no plan B.
Okay, just checking.
We were actually I'm going to say this where we were when it hit, and then I'll get to the recording. But
go ahead.
We were about to do our second UK tour. I mean, we were 2 days from stepping on the plane for 15 days in the UK.
Oh, there you go.
And then we woke up one morning and all the, venues were canceling. So we knew what was coming. But as far as that redefining how you record a record was, we always loved that part of making a record is that everybody being in the studio at the same time, kind of kicking the song around, hey, the drummer will be doing something or the guitar player will be doing something. You're like, hey, you can see, hey, try this here, try that. You're all right there in the moment when it's fresh and it's live, kicking it around and making. Now it's different. We'll record the scratch vocals and we'll record the acoustic and the bass line, then send it to the drummer and he'll lay down a couple of ways and, send it back and, we'll listen to it, go try this, but it might take him 3 days to get back to the track because he's working, he's got other things he's doing. So, yeah. Patience is what we had to learn on this album. It's like there is no quick, hey, we recorded a song, got it down in 1 day. That was a farce. We had to learn to be patient, and
which is a really weird thing to have to learn in a lockdown quarantine pandemic.
Yeah.
You don't think, oh, patience is what I need out of this.
Yeah.
That's he's right. That's definitely what came from it. And we were also, like everybody, I think what Willie touched on with, we were about to step on a plane and do 15 days in the UK. And we obviously, clubs were the bigger clubs that, financed the tour were canceling. And so we pulled the rest of the dates and canceled. And both of us thought, okay, well, we'll pick back up in April. We'll pick back up right when we land. We were supposed to have landed back in Atlanta and start, hit the ground running again. We had Texas dates. We had all these dates. And little by little, we realized, oh, it's not 2 weeks. Oh, it's not 2 months. Oh, it's not 6 months. So just like everybody else, it took us a really long time to come to terms with the fact of what we were facing.
But back to the recording side of it, the luxury we had in this, working from home environment was that all of our players played for us. They knew how we thought. They knew how we felt. They knew what we wanted.
So we already had that.
Yeah, so we already had a bond, as far as playing. So it wasn't like you're sending a track to a drummer that doesn't know how you operate or think or feel. Okay. He knows, they know we'd already kind of bonded, but still it was annoying and a little sad it's like the big pep talk in the locker room before you hit the field, we're going to go out there, we're going to win. Yeah. It's like, that's gone. It's like, hey, the email, hey, we're going to win doesn't go on as well as the pep talk in the locker room beforehand. So you had to be patient, when you're creating a song and putting it together, it's a birth, it's like, it's coming right now, man. I love that this happened. And when you have that rush of energy of this is how, man, the song is coming together. Let me send it to the guitar player and see what he can do, and then you have to set, so he'll cut some tracks and send them back to you. And you're like, can you do this or do this? Yes, I can, but I can't do that till next Tuesday. Oh. So it's a little hard on you artistically, but overall, I'm very happy with the record, how it sounds.
Yep. No, it did come out nice. When did you get the ball rolling on this album? From start to finish, what's the time frame?
Started recording this in late November of 2020.
Okay. So,
and then we probably wrapped about 6 months ago now.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah. So it took a while.
It took a little bit longer than most of the others, but it's also, we both have full albums out with our, separate careers. And we only have the EP out as the WAYMORES. So that one went really quick. I think we did that one in like 3 months.
Because we were all in the studio together.
We were all in the studio together. And there were only 5 songs.
Yeah. So you got started. Yeah. So you got started within the pandemic timeline or whatever like that. Had you already had this idea to start, were you?
No, absolutely not. So,
okay.
So our plan was we were going to record a single. We thought, during this downtime, I'd written a little catch tune, Heart of Stone. I thought, hey, we'll just record this song and get everybody to do it this way, working from home. And we'll just release this single to just remind everybody that we're out there.
Uh-huh.
And after we did that, it went so easy. We thought, let's record an entire album this way. And so we thought we would, just drip feed some songs. And once we had 10 of them together, we'd make an album. But then we got picked up by Wendy and she was like, stop doing this right now. Make an entire album and we'll put it out.
Okay.
Man.
So the people spoke through Wendy.
Yeah, people spoke.
Yeah.
When your
Wendy-
team tells
Wendy
you
is
to do
the people.
something, listen
Yeah.
to your team.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So it kind of makes me think that now I haven't heard some of your earlier things that is this sort of a different style for you, this album, or is this always the way you had,
No, it's
sounded?
just what you would expect from another Waymores album.
Okay.
So Willie's full band stuff in his separate career is a lot. I mean, we're pretty rowdy when we do live shows too, just to acoustics, we can get really rowdy, but
No.
his full band stuff was very much labeled as outlaw country and was very...
I never called myself that.
And labeled
Yeah.
as, he didn't label it as, but
It is funny, but I got to go with labels all the time. You know, Americana is probably the worst label I'm getting from
it's
people
very
because
broad.
it could mean anything.
Yeah.
it's very broad.
Yeah.
My solo stuff with my full band was just a lot of Lover's Lament stuff, and all of it is still very country and very old school country and Americana.
Yeah.
At least you put the honky tonk in front of that. You know, so that sort of sets that almost gives you a little bit of at least to me, gave me a sort of a picture in my head. Oh, this is a little bit more down home and personal. You know, you go like you can walk into one of those honky tonks and this is what I'd be hearing. You know,
it's relatable.
Yeah, it is relatable. Yeah, and I saw some of the write-ups that comparing you know, echoes of Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn, a little bit of Johnny and June Carter, the cast, things like that. But there's some validity to that, I think. You know,
well, thank you.
I hear the two of you sing together, and that's you trade off, and then you harmonize somewhere in the middle, and it does have that sort of a feel to it.
Well, yeah. Well, thank you. It's a weird thing, you know. Karen and I just started singing together. It just felt natural. Then these vocal coaches and stuff, and Stephanie goes, "Y'all should work on a harmony." I was like, "Well, yeah, okay, we'll work on it here and there, but I don't want to spend all my time thinking about what part I got to sing. I'd rather just sing." But those are kind words that you just said.
If it sounds good, it sounds good.
It sounds good to me this way, so I'm gonna just do it. If it's right, it's right, and if it's not, I don't care.
You familiar either of you with Jack Blanchard and Misty Morgan? Those two, they were. Now this goes back to like the 60s. They did a couple of songs like Tennessee Birdwalk. You'd have to look this up, kids. So this is, but very much like that too. If you ever listen to those two, they have that kind of sound as well. So you know, we'll
have to check them out.
Yeah,
it's a real comfortable, relatable, as Willie was saying. Really, very nice, comfortable sound. So every once in a while they'll shock you with an S word, or not F word, but there's some there's some language in there that you might not hear in some of those earlier recordings that you might pull out on your LPs. So, but nothing wrong with that, because you know, in a live setting, I bet you it gets a response. You know, people probably
it does. But we've made a promise to ourselves that we're going to curb back the language.
We got to a point last year that we were our live show was a little bit more adult oriented than we had originally planned for it to be. So we had to tell each other after our little forced hiatus that we needed to come back and be a little more professional on stage and not cuss as much. We're working on it. But it's on the albums, you know, we dropped the S-bomb a couple times, and I think it's only in a live performance that the F word ever comes out.
Yeah, and it's deserved every time.
I do that every once in a while. I bring off the appearance of being goody two shoes in my language, but I guess that's just habit, because you know I was used to doing this kind of stuff where you couldn't say that on the radios, but now you can say anything you want. Feel free to let anything fly, but I appreciate, you know, we're all grown ups here.
Yeah,
for sure.
Right. Absolutely.
No 10-year-old kids listening to this kind of, you know, bat ass crazy and all that. So, but great song, by the way. Maybe I can talk about that for a second, because that's the one that sort of grabs you, because it's right in the title. So who wrote that? Is because, you know, sometimes it sounds like it's from Kira's point of view, but I don't know. Did you both write this together?
I started writing this one about someone very specific, and then like most of our songs, it kind of morphed into just like a, you know, an idea of somebody in your head, and it turned into us thinking about all the people that we see on social media, be it female or male, that every other week you see them saying like, oh, I've met the love of my life. And then they, go through this whole, like they're airing all their laundry out on social media, and then they break up. And then the following week they've met another love of their life.
I always like to say that Kira and I've had arguments that lasted longer than some of their relationships.
Yeah. So we started writing about someone specific, and then moved to kind of like this broad idea of somebody on social media. But Willie stepped in and helped write that one like immediately after the first verse was done, and really added some great lines to it, like the
pictures of us.
I've got pictures, of pictures of us kissing, dancing barefoot in the kitchen. That's all Willie.
That's cool.
And then we just kind of wrote together, sitting on the front porch, drinking too much and having a good old time with it.
That's the beautiful thing about us songwriting together, is that, for my 20-year career before Kira and I ever met, or it wasn't 20 years.
It's 20 years.
I fancied myself as, I wasn't the best singer, and I was a mediocre guitar player. I was always smart enough to have a good band behind me. But the songs just came. I always view it as, you're just an antenna receiving these songs, and the life you live conditions this antenna to receive these songs, right? But it's like, man, these incredible songs would just come out of me, and I was, but one day it just stopped. And I was like, oh no, what do I do? It's like my antenna was broken. And then Kira just started writing earlier in our meeting. And she'd come to me, was like, I wrote the song. Do you want to hear it? I'm like, sure. And it was incredible. I'm like, damn, a little bit jealous. And then she'd come to me with another song, like, you want to hear a song I wrote? Sure. It was also incredible. And I was like, damn it. Then she'd come to me with a song she wrote. Do you want to hear it? It's like, no, I don't want to hear another awesome song you wrote. I haven't written a song in a year. But then when we started writing together, man, my antenna was fixed. And I realized, man, so now when we write songs, if, she'll go, I got this line and this melody here. And I'll go, oh, well, do this here. It's just incredible. It's organic and it's not a forced thing, but she fixed she gave me cable TV is what she did.
Yeah. It's too early to tell you that I'm crazy, so I'll take it for a week or two. It's too early to tell me you got trouble staying true. So for the next 2 weeks, you'll be my world, and I'll tell everyone I can. For the third week, for the fourth time this month, I'll find another man. Because I'm crazy.
Yeah, that's a good lesson to, I'm glad you organically go into that. I've kind of put away that question for people, the writers, that antenna being broken, your writer's block, or, I'm not inspired. What do I do? That kind of thing. Everybody's got an answer for it, but mostly it's just, write it out. It'll get over it and it'll come back. But it's nice that you have each other to play off, because, that's an energy that you can't get just by yourself,
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. And you come up with something beautiful if you're doing it that way. So what's your drink of choice when to write?
Always Jack Daniels and Coca-Cola for me.
I drink tequila
or wine.
Nice.
straight. Or tonight I'm drinking wine. Pinot Noir.
And you don't have to be songwriting to do that. You might just crack it open anyway. Yeah.
There'll be a whole different style song written if I drink wine than if I drink tequila.
Now I hope you didn't do too much of that when the lockdown was going on, because a lot of people got scared for that first 2 months, because they thought it was going to be 2 weeks, and then it was 2 months, and then now it's 2 years. It's
developed quite a lot of habits during the little lockdown period. No, we kept, we were touring 200 days a year and drinking at most of our shows. So I think more than anything, we probably calmed down a little on our drinking during quarantine because we were home and could rest.
Yeah.
So there was probably a couple weeks there where we were just goofing off with each other and having a good time. And then we got a lot done around the house and got a lot of napping in.
Yeah. Not everybody had something to go back to, especially when you're in the kind of biz that you are. Your livelihood is getting out there with the people and sharing all the stuff that you created, and maybe you got some merch to put out there as well. You got to nickel and dime that stuff. And
our merch table. Our merch, it did explode. We were very grateful for that people bought so much merchandise once we put it out there. Hey, we can't tour. We got to make a living. And people bought a lot of merch. It was very flattering.
We're very blessed with an incredible group of fans and friends and family. And so while a lot of our peers struggled financially during quarantine, we struggled more mentally. Financial wasn't such a huge burden on us during quarantine because of our fans and friends and family. But it was just kind of that losing yourself in the not being able to be an artist anymore. So luckily we got to write most of this album. And we found little moments like that to kind of hide away too. Because it is scary when you don't know when you're going to get to do the thing that you love and the thing that you've lived for the last 10 years, 20 years.
Yeah.
We had no idea when we were going to get that back. So it was a scary time.
Yeah. And, when you're a performance artist, I have other artistic outlets. Kira's a hell of a writer. I'm an illustrator and I do other things, but the performance art, the act of being on stage and performing is what keeps the noose off my neck as an artist. So was the scariest thing as a performing artist, to not, when will I get to perform again? That was the scariest part of it. We were so reluctant for the break when it was forced upon us, but then a little bit into it, once we realized, hey, it's kind of nice. A lot of pressures. We started writing some incredible stuff once we just embraced the fact that, hey, when we got over being mad that our tours have been canceled and we're not, once we just took a deep breath and went, this is what it is. You're not going anywhere. We started writing some incredible stuff, which ironically was what we needed at the time. So all these great songs that we have on this album, came from that forced lockdown, which at the time we were so reluctant for. But we were also the people that were bitching about, I never have time to be an artist because I'm always going, we're touring, and we do everything ourselves, from the load-ins to the drive-ins to the bookings to everything. It's like we don't have time to be an artist. And it's a weird life. Once you make a piece of art, you're out supporting that piece of art, but then you're out pushing that and supporting it, that you never have time to just stop and be an artist again. You become business people.
Sure.
So it was kind of neat that
we do have a small team with us now.
Yeah.
We do. Well, I'd say we do, a lot of it ourselves, but now we do have a good team behind us with publicity and digital marketing, and that's a huge help.
So you got to outsource some of these things.
Absolutely. You would have no life if you didn't. You would have no life at all.
But at least you had that foundation of doing this stuff on your own. So you knew how to manage yourselves and
we knew what we wanted, what we needed from somebody else for sure.
So you didn't go into it. You didn't start hiring people going like, what do we do? What do we do? You already knew what to do. You just needed some people to help you along the way. Yeah,
you didn't go blindly hire a manager and get a Gibson out of it.
Yeah. Man, one of the funniest things you hear is bands, you know, when you're playing in towns and you have like the local opener and they're picking your brain as they should, because that's how you learn stuff. But, you know, you'll hear the comments like, man, I just, we're trying to get a manager. And then I'll be like, oh, so what, you know what a manager does? Well, you book shows. I'm like, no, that's what a booking agent does. It's like, well, it's like, you don't need a manager. You can manage this. You know, it's like, everybody thinks, not everybody, but some of these,
thought at it once.
They think, oh, I just need a manager and everything will be okay. It's like, no, what does a manager do? It's like, he books shows. No, that's what a booking agent does.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get I appreciate all that. That's great stuff to hear, especially on a show like mine. I like to hear about, you know, how people do it, and other people can be inspired too. They say, hey, these guys make it look easy. It's not easy, but you know, it's worth it, I think.
It is, man. I tell you, so Kira and I's relationship is this, because I was so burnt out from my past career with the business end of stuff like that our relationship, Kira handles all of the business end of our lives as a Waymores, and she works non-stop. We wake up sometimes, man, I'll wake up, you know, cracking my eyes like, what's going on? She'll have the laptop out. I got to respond to this. We never stop working. The work never stops ever. It's always, because, you know, when you book a show, it's like, well, that's one element of it. It's only a fraction of it. You know, that show needs to be serviced. You need to make sure you have transportation to get to that show. You need to make sure you got PA to play that show or whatever, you know, it never stops. It is work 24/7. The music industry is not easy at all.
Yeah. What a sad thing. No, that's fine. I appreciate that. That's the reality of it. But in the end, it is, it's worth the time, right? It's a labor of love.
Absolutely.
The minute we hit the stage, it's all worth it.
The moment you hit the stage.
There you go.
It's all worth it.
So that's when you feel like even if it's on the worst night, it's still still better than doing something else that you didn't want to, right? You know, that you had
still better than digging a ditch.
Yeah. Worst day of fishing beats the best day of digging a ditch.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay. So, love to hear about your story. So let me see if I can pick it apart. Since Willie had this career that was going on for a while, tell me a little bit about how you got started, Willie, because I understand you were with other bands, you know, or, you know, plural, right?
Man,
other things.
I started out as an upright player. And this, man, is, you know, early 90s when, you know, upright players weren't. Now they're just everywhere again. Not saying, you know, it was I started out as an upright player. So I wasn't in Nashville, you know, so I could get work all over the place. And I played for some people that were fairly successful or underground and getting there. But one day I just decided that I was tired of being the bass player. And some of these people that I played for, I would wind up managing and playing bass for. But man, I was going through a divorce, you know, it was killing my marriage, and I was, you know, at a high paying job that was crippling away from, you know, because of all this music stuff. And I just said one day that I'm going to start my own career. I'm tired of doing it for everybody else. You know, I'm going to just start my own career. And fortunately, I had made enough contacts from handling other people that when I started my own career, I didn't have to do much. Shows came quickly. Some high profile shows came quickly. But, you know, it was rough. Then I wound up getting a record deal on a record label out of California. I relocated to Nashville. It was rough. It was a rough life, man. And, you know, going through a divorce and getting a record deal at the same time. If that's not a country song, I kiss a good man's ass.
Yeah.
But
let's not go that far, but
let's not go there. But, you know, I just got tired of, it was just, man, I hit a wall. You know, you can only go so hard, so long, try to, you know, help raise a child and, you know, pay your bills and do, you know, it was a lot. And Kira and I met when I was still, you know, halfway almost famous. I was almost famous like 3 times.
I used to call Willie the king of this close.
So once again, you know, one of the things, like when Kira and I met, I just made it, but I was done. I was burnt out, man. I was just tired of all the work. that those moments when you hit the stage, man, they're so uplifting. It's like sometimes your feet don't even touch the ground. It's such a, an uplifting thing. But when you came down off of that, you got to go deal with all this business stuff. You've got to, your name as a business is making money, but you're paying everything, but I'm not getting paid. It's like everybody's getting paid, but not me. And it just became wore me out. And then Kira and I started doing the WAYMORES thing together, and I fell in love with music again.
And somehow you fell in love with each other too.
Yeah. So. Well, we fell in love with each other before we started doing the WAYMORES.
I fell in love with him first.
Maybe Kira can pick up the story then when this is down in Atlanta, right? So or in Georgia somewhere anyway.
Yeah, just north of the city. We met at this horrible dive bar in our town, and I had never heard country music like that before, and I saw him and his band play Junior Brown's Hung It Up on stage, and I just lost it. And I was like, I want him, I want that, I want the music, I want all of that, everything on the stage right there. I want it.
She really wanted Junior Brown, but she could only get Dollar General Junior Brown.
I'm not getting that. It sounded like she wanted Willie. She wanted some of that.
And then I got it. No, I worked real hard. Willie was not up for having a girlfriend at all, and I had to convince him and fight all the other girls off and make sure that he knew how cool I was.
She is cool.
So this was on an upswing. He had a good attitude. He was living his life again and all that stuff.
He was still touring about 200 days a year with his full band at that time. And we started casually dating, which is all I could talk him into at the time. And then, I had my full band as well. And we both talked often about how we would come home from little runs and tours, and we were the only ones that came home broke, and our guys were getting paid and we weren't. And so several years into our relationship, we decided to just play music together around town just to pay the bills. Never expected it to go anywhere. And then we just, like he said, we fell in love with doing it this way, and we got a lot of attention. We put out a little video of us covering John Prine and Iris DeMent's In Spite of Ourselves.
It got a lot of attention.
It got a lot of attention from somebody out in New Mexico, Arizona, that kind of area. And we booked a date out there and then booked a tour to follow it. And then we just never stopped.
Wow.
And then we were forced to stop. And now we're starting again.
Well,
we both started to make money in the Atlanta area. We decided we wanted to play something together just to pay the bills. But it was like, we can't oversaturate our names. I can't be throwing my name. I had a record label harping at me. He's like, you can't oversaturate your name with these bar acoustic gigs, So we decided we'd call it the WAYMORES. Actually, I wanted to call it the Atlanta WAYMORES. And we're like, and we just went with the WAYMORES in tribute to Waylon Jennings. But we never thought that it would get it. We just started this to be a bar room act. And we never thought it would get the attention that it's got. And
we're thankful for it.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a good idea that actually stuck with you for a while. Yeah, well, that's good. So your dates back then was probably like they are now. I mean, you just do stuff together, and that's kind of your date in life, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way my wife and I were. We just figured, we didn't have to. We can think up some clever things to do tonight, but hey, as long as we're out doing something. And you were playing gigs and being together, so that's nice. When you don't have all the money, you at least got something good to do together.
Yeah,
we get to spend most every day together. So on date night, sometimes we just choose to watch movies at home.
That's a good date night,
which is always kind of nice.
So that's good. So that's what makes it work. Then it sounds like some relationships are tested or strained a little bit, but you can't hide it. I think you're doing well.
Thank you.
I love and adore her. I don't know what I would do without her.
So this was like 14 years ago. That's what it says on the paper.
We'll be 14 years together in April. Good and job. we hung out for a little while before I talked him into it. So about 14 years ago.
Well, you talk about a good woman. She gets you a nice guitar for Christmas or whatever it was that you got.
And she cooks every meal for me. I love her for it.
And she runs the business. What don't don't screw this up, Willie.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying hard.
Yeah, when you get a good woman and plus you got enough tattoos on each. You're running out of skin for those sleeves.
I got some skin left.
Yeah. I don't know. You're saving that for a special.
I've got a piece planned for it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
When did you all do this separately? I mean, did you have ink way before this all, or did you get some together?
Willie was completely tattooed, both sleeves when I met him. I had, I think, a full back piece and like one of my shoulders done. And through the years, we both love getting tattoos, and we've got a lot of little Easter egg tattoos. They're couples tattoos, but they don't say like just each other's names. Like I've got Johnny on my arm and he has June on his.
Oh,
and like I'll get a little tattoo. She'll get it somewhere on her.
Yeah, so we have little Easter eggs all over us that are meaningful just to us.
Yeah,
tattoos are therapy, man. It's like once life starts wearing you out and stress gets to you, just go sit in that chair for 2 hours and you'll be like, I don't give a crap.
Try to pay attention to your mental health. That physical pain is
I just want to be out of this chair. I don't care about my bills.
Yeah,
that's good. From what I've seen, you fit the profile real good. If you had to like conjure up the perfect duo to do this kind of thing, you got the tats. Kira's got the jewelry in her nose sometimes, and you got the Jack Daniels and the tequila, and it sounds. What could be better? It sounds like you're living life just the way you want to, even though sometimes you got. And there, and by the way, Willie's got one right there for people who can't see him.
And not only do I have Jack Daniels, but I have it in my Elvis glass.
Isn't that nice? Yeah. You can't phone this up. Or
I was beginning to wonder which direction this interview was taking.
No, I don't judge. I just figure that, you can't phony this stuff up on stage, although they eat you alive, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, people can sense a fake, man. They can smell it. Yeah. And I think that's one of the things why we do so well is that it's authentic. People can, you have to be confident. We're not conceited, but we're confident in what we do. It's like I know what I can and what I can't do, but if you get up on that stage in front of people and if there's one part of you that's insecure about why you're up there, they're going to smell it and they're going to eat you alive. You have to don't be cocky, but be confident when you get on stage.
Yeah. Well, we got a thumbnail sketch of Willie's career and how you two met, Kira and Willie. But Kira, what were you doing prior to the gigs that you were on stage with him? What were you doing? Any music before that as your own type of artist?
I was
playing in bands.
Yeah, I sang in my brother's band. He and his friend played guitar and I sang, and I didn't even know how to play guitar until I saw Willie. So I sang a little here and there. I had a kid. And I was just being a mom when I met him. And then I was like, holy moly. And so in that kind of same mix, I was welcomed into, and he at the same time was welcomed into this kind of big ensemble called the No Count Palookas. There were a ton of people in it, like 15 band members. It was very Opry style. And we would kind of all just switch off. And I was a little tiny bit, not by any fault of theirs, but just looked at as just a singer, and got a little bit tired of it. So I watched him mainly, but them on stage, and I learned 3 chords, and I went home and I wrote
overnight.
I went home and wrote my first song. My husband at the time had a guitar, and I wrote a song on his guitar, and I like ran the following week to the guys, and I said, this is something I wrote. I want to work it up. And they were all so unbelievably supportive, and I think we played it like the following week at a live show, and that was that, man. I was hooked. I couldn't put it down. And so I formed my own band and played a few shows, and then formed another band and played a few more shows, and just all of it was just trying to get closer to him, just trying to get where we are now.
What a beautiful story. I'm liking this stuff. Yeah. Between the two of you, how many kids are in the picture? It didn't even occur to me that you two were that there are any kids, because it just sort of seems like you just met. So I didn't know that was going on. So is it just the one on your side, Kira?
We have 2 kids, my son, Sebastian, and his daughter, Madeline.
Okay.
My daughter's 24.
25, I think.
25.
25.
Such a great father.
And my son is about to be 17.
Oh, okay. So they're out of the nest.
One's out of the
One's out of the nest, and the other one isn't.
And one is just itching to be out of the nest.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've been exposed to all this
Their entire
in their
lives.
prime years. So
Yep.
what do they think of the biz with watching you two?
Well, the son Sebastian has got a better musical ear than us put together. We're always calling him in to, like, we're trying to work something out. We're like, Sebastian, get in here. What are we doing? How's the harmony work? He's like, y'all are killing me.
Yeah, he's unbelievably musically talented. Madeline grew up with this her entire life as well. I think that she's probably a lot further from the industry than Sebastian.
Yeah,
Sebastian's still questioning it a little bit going into it. He gets to see the good and the bad. He gets to see when we're so in love with what we do and we're out on the road and we're so happy. And then he gets to see when we're out on the road and things maybe don't go our way.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit heartbreaking at times. So we're real honest with him at both aspects, both the spectrums, ends of the spectrum. So he's not going in, if he does choose to go in, he's not going in blindly by any means. I'm hoping if he does choose music, that he does something more like a session musician, a hired gun, because you make money.
Yeah. And my daughter grew up around, her grandfather is an established, bass player. He's played for B.B. King and Carlin Carter and all these kind. So, she's just, nothing is impressive to her about the music industry at all.
Oh, we're not cool to either.
Yeah, either one of them. Yeah, we're not
Well,
cool.
that sounds normal. That's
Yeah, they're not cool at all. Nope.
You don't have to tell me about that kind of thing. But I think in time, I keep thinking, one day they'll think I'm cool. After I'm dead, maybe they'll understand that I was cool at one time.
Yeah, my fingers are crossed for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think keeps you two going? I'm trying to figure out how to say this and not in an insulting manner. You guys church going folks or faith, anything like that? Or is it?
Oh man, we got the California, we're spiritual all the way.
Okay. I don't,
not corporate religion in any way, but we're spiritual people all the way.
Music is very much our religion.
Music is our religion.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh man.
Yeah.
I apologize to everybody.
Take a breath, Dean.
You need a shot, you need a safe space, you need a massage.
I've been saying this, for the last 10, 12 years doing this. It was just natural for me to ask that question, but sometimes I think you can get a little bit caught up in the earthly ways of fake social media and all the way people there's a lot of meanness out there, and I'm getting to the point where I'm beginning to be a little whipped when it comes to asking things of a personal nature.
I understand, man. Yeah,
I don't want you to be upset.
Let me tell you how music breaks down for us. Can I do that?
Yes, please.
So
get me out of this for a second.
Music is a powerful thing, right? The right song at the right time can make you fall in love. The right song at the right time has made people commit murder. The right song at the right time has made people riot. Right? It's a powerful thing. Music is powerful. It is our religion. And I can't, I grew up, when I was growing up, my mother was a religiously tortured woman. I mean, I grew up in a Jehovah's Witness household that every time my mother's life went bad, she would cling to her religion. But as soon as her life got good, she forgot about that religion. But I can tell you this, man, I can't remember the last time my heart was broken, or I didn't think I could go on, or that life was worth living, that I opened the Bible and read a scripture that kept the pistol out of my mouth. But I can tell you that when my life felt like it was done, my heart was so broken I couldn't function, that I heard Hank Williams sing, "I'm so lonesome I could cry." I didn't think I had it so bad. That's the power of music. It is a religion to me. It motivates me. It gives me principle. It gives me purpose. So music is our religion. It's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing.
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah. Thank you for picking up on what I was really going for, because, there's a little bit of a difference between, hey, going to church and then having it right here. You know what I'm saying? And that's more what I'm about. I think I don't go to church on Sunday. My mom will probably whip me. Say, "Are you going?" Yeah. My wife's mother the same way.
Yeah.
I just always try to be a good person and be good to other people.
There you go.
And, we both do. And if your intentions are good, we can only hope for the best.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this right now. If there is a God, he's a Hank Williams fan. I'll tell you that right now.
Nice. Thank you. That's a good. I appreciate that. Now, it shouldn't be that uncomfortable for me to say, but I don't know what's wrong with me. I think like I said, I think the world's getting to me.
Man.
It happens.
It's a scary world, you know. You're scared. It's hard to, and I got to be quick about this, but we go through this all the time. It's hard to say what you want to say. You have to edit everything in your head because, you know,
somebody out there,
somebody's going to be offended, and no matter what you say, the simplest or most beautiful thing can be misinterpreted as something hateful or mean. I understand where you're coming from, man.
Yeah.
We deal with it all the time as well.
That's why I chose to tape these things ahead of time, but I still don't like editing myself. It's not my nature. I'd rather just have a nice conversation and flow, even if I'm the one that's going like stuttering stuff. So anyway, thank you very much for you've lit up the show with that with those comments, Willie. So I appreciate that a lot.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about the album. Let me see if I got some of the tracks here, because these two are going to grace us with a couple of songs, and I want to thank you for that, because when I wanted to have a show and talk about music, I wanted people to actually, share some of that music. And it's nice that both of you have your instruments in your hands and ready to go.
Ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, of course.
You didn't pay for those things just to have them sit on your knee and be quiet,
That's right.
Would you mind, maybe, since we're talking about that, you have a single that was just kind of put out in the world, right? Everybody knows about
Even
when. Yeah. And I like that one too. Nice exhibits. If you listen to the recording on the CD, on the album, has that classic feel that we were talking about, and both of you singing on it. And tell me a little bit about that, how that was written, and maybe you can play it when we're done here.
So this one again started out about someone very specific, and we kind of widened our spectrum there a little bit and made it a little broader. But it's just about, you have these relationships that come and go in your life, and sometimes you're left missing somebody that maybe wasn't worth missing, or still isn't worth missing, but it doesn't take away the fact that you have all these beautiful memories and these special moments with this person or these people. And it's just about love and loss, and it's coming from not so much a spiteful spot, but more of one of like, don't you miss me? Don't you think about me too? I can't be the only one that this is happening to. I can't be the only one thinking about this. And
it's also a little bit realizing self-worth.
Yeah, like so I miss you. That doesn't mean I'm coming back.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm,
Yeah, I miss some of the times we have it. That doesn't mean I'm letting you come back in.
I can see what you're talking about with the relatable stuff. Yeah, people relate to that as well.
I hope so.
Everybody's got that somewhere in their lives. Now that we've talked about that, I got to hear it. So maybe I'll just turn it over to you two. This is the WAYMORES, Kira and Willie, and they are going to sing Even When.
Hey, ready, baby?
Yep.
Thank you.
I don't miss none of my friends left behind dry back then. If you're sitting home just wondering, I don't miss you even when walking alone in the cold, cold wind. Those old memories rushing in. The cold cuts deep just like a long lost friend. I don't miss you even when I see your photos in an old shoebox, keeping track of everything I've lost. Trying hard to hold on to what I've got. It ain't a lie, it's not a lie. I got everything I need, worn out boots and homegrown weed. I'm the match, you're the gasoline. I don't miss you constantly, till I see your photos in an old shoebox, keeping track of everything I've lost. Trying hard to hold on to what I've got. It ain't a lie, it's not a lie. I don't miss none of my friends left me high and dry back then. If you're sitting home just wondering,
Wonderful. That's great. Love that. Love that.
Thank you.
I did that because I know that there's another song coming. And you know, that's nice to hear that acoustically because I can concentrate a little bit. Those are some nice lyrics that you did there.
Well,
Thank you.
We always make the joke that it's so funny that we write an album on acoustic guitars. Then we go into the studio and arrange the songs for a full band, but then we have to come back and rearrange the songs on acoustic guitars to fit
our live show.
For our live show.
So it's a little different going back, reverse engineering the thing.
Reverse engineering. We'll put, you have to figure out dynamics and try to be as energetic as the full band recording with just 2 guitars.
Yeah. Well, that's great. And it did sound good. You know, technology as it is, you know, I wish the Zoom had, you know, you can't set everything up to be a studio, but this is really nice sounding, the two of you. So
Thank you, sir.
I could hear you both and I could hear your guitars and nothing was over modulating or drowning out. It was great. So
thank you. Thank you very much.
People, when they see you singing, I can concentrate on what's going on in the back. You picked a nice room there with some things on the wall.
This is our bedroom.
Is this just normally where you do your Zoom stuff? You know, when you do it? That's great. Yeah. So
there's a lot of texture on the walls.
Yeah, we got a bunch of dogs out there and that space over there and kids running around and the full band's about to be out there in a minute. So.
I told my rehearsal here.
It's a little tough. You know, when my son moved out, this is the room I took over. So
we made this room up to look like an old log cabin. So, and it's both of our favorite rooms because your bedroom should be your favorite room in the house, right?
Sure.
So, it's very comfy and cozy in here. So we like it.
I love that. Yeah. Okay. So you had another song on tap. So might as well get to that since you got the guitars out. This one is I Don't Like the Liquor. And I enjoyed that one. That was fun to listen to there.
It's about honky tonk bad habits.
This is another one that you wrote together, or tell me a little bit about that.
Interesting story. Our buddy Anders Thompson wrote this song, but he did a little video of him just noodling with it, and I reached out to him and said, "Is that something you've cut, or just something you're noodling with?" And he goes, "No, I'm just writing it." And I was like, "We want that song. Do you mind if we?" And he was like, "Absolutely, take it." But back to what we were talking about earlier, we like to take songs from friends of ours that are songwriters trying to do stuff.
And we made it fit the WAYMORES a little bit. He gave us full creative freedom on this one. So
it's his song, but we definitely took it and made it a WAYMORES song.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready for it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So let's do it now. And we'll talk a little bit after that. So this is I Don't Like the Liquor, and I do like this one. So let's go for it.
I don't like the whiskey, but the whiskey likes me. He's always coming round, tugging on my sleeve, singing, "Ooh-wee, Daddy, take a drink of me." I don't like tequila, but tequila likes me. She's always by my side, trying to hitch a ride, singing, "Ooh-wee, Mama, take a drink of me." If I had just a nickel for every drink I ever drunk, I couldn't pack all that money into an old railroad trunk. I don't like the cocaine, but the cocaine likes me. It's always coming round, tugging on my sleeve, singing, "Ooh, Mama, take a sniff of me." You know I love the reefer and the reefer loves me. We always get along. He never does me wrong, singing, "Ooh-wee, Daddy, take a puff of me." If I had just a nickel for every drink I ever drunk, I couldn't pack all that money into an old railroad trunk. I don't like the liquor, but the liquor likes me. He's always coming round, tugging on my sleeve, singing, "Ooh-wee, Daddy, take a drink of me." Singing, "Ooh-wee, Mama, take a drink of me."
Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. Shout out to Anders Thompson. Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's some nice poetry there. Now, did you do anything to alter that other than, come up with a nice arrangement like you did?
No, he came up with the arrangement. We changed some of the lyrics to fit more according to our habits.
I think the tequila line.
Yeah, the tequila line was the big one. Yeah, that wasn't in there.
Yeah. The rest was already in there, I think.
Oh, that sounds great. Wow.
Well, thank you, sir.
Good stuff. Wow. Now, those are the songs that we got to hear live, but how long did it take you to record all these other tracks? You were talking about how you had to pass around some of these tracks, like to the drummer and all this. Doing this, it takes some patience, as you were saying in the beginning of this interview. But
it took probably close to a year.
Yeah.
So from November of last year, we're saying
November 2020.
Yeah.
I
meant 2020.
Yeah. So it was really close to a year.
But when you make a record, once you finish the product, there's still 6 months of press time,
pre-production stuff,
post-production stuff, getting press out about it. So it's not like the day you stop making the record, here it is. There's a whole other campaign that begins once you're done with the physical recording.
Yeah. And then so it's the money that sometimes you got to pour some. Do you ever think that you had the budget to do this, and then somehow there wasn't enough? You got to pour a little bit more into the project.
Oh, always, yeah.
Yeah, you thought you were done paying for it. And you're still doing it.
The budget we have in our head is never the budget that it ends up being.
Always, always winds up going over.
That's the tough part. I mean, but it's still, when all is said and done, it's still the life you want to do, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what it's all about. I sure appreciate, I know I could talk to you for a whole bunch longer here, but like I said,
we got a rehearsal we got to get to soon. We got
full band rehearsal anyways.
Yeah, really. What kind of touring are you doing now? It's been kind of weird and different, depending on what state you are. There's not.
It has been weird. We do a little Alabama run, South Georgia, Alabama run next week. And then we do some stuff around like in Rome, Georgia, McKaysville. And then we got put on the official South by Southwest showcase this year.
Oh, great.
So that was that was nice. So we're going to tour all the way out to New Mexico. And then on our way back, we're going to hit South by Southwest and we're flying the full band out.
Because we'll be on tour acoustically all the way out to New Mexico and back. And the band's going to fly and meet us in Austin for South by. Okay. Because normally, it's not very often we do it with the full band, but during South by, you got to give the truest interpretation of the record that you can. So you need the full band.
Well, you're dangerously close to my coast, you're not quite, but one of these days,
we'll let you know when we get out there.
Yeah. Anybody that comes out to LA somewhere, I'll make the time to go find them and go see them.
Good to know.
Definitely stay in touch.
I'm one of these busy guys anyway, so I understand. But all those touring, 200 something dates a year, that's no small potatoes. That means you got a nice following that people want to keep booking you and seeing you.
We have a good little circuit.
We're very blessed with that. We've got a great circuit happening, and we plan to hopefully hit some new spots this year.
Well, great. Thank you so much for the serenade. I thought that was really
thank you.
Very, very special. Yeah, I really appreciate that. And thanks for picking me up after I crashed in the ditch and then let myself back out of there. But,
you did great.
I think you understand. I had to explain myself why I was freezing up there for a moment.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah, so now we're even. Your internet froze or somebody's internet froze. Technology is great, but you guys have your head in the game. You do it old school, but you're with the big technology, doing everything the right way. And I think that's what's going to carry you through the rest of the years. I wish you all the success. May you be blessed.
Thank you so much.
You're on. Plug yourselves. How do people find this stuff? I'll make sure that I put your website on there, but what is it?
Yeah, so our website is thewaymores.com, and you can find us on social media. Pretty much every social media account is at the Waymores, except for Twitter is at @Waymores. Everything else is just the Waymores, and you'll see our pretty little mugs right there in the picture.
What's the most fun interaction? Are you on Facebook doing
Instagram.
things? Instagram. Yeah. What is it with Instagram? I still haven't figured that garbage out. But
it's my favorite one. It's my favorite. But
I don't like taking selfies, or maybe that's my thing.
Well, we do a lot of, we've got our separate accounts too, but we do a lot of photos on Instagram, obviously. But we've also got a TikTok and.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
TikTok's
I try
big.
to keep up with all of them.
You're taking advantage of all the stuff, so that's good.
Yep.
That's going to bring you some more success. But the main thing is that you're just doing what you love, and regardless of what goes on around you, you're still having a good time with it. And I think that's what it's all about. So thanks very much, Kira, Willie.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dean.
Wonderful conversation. I hope you liked it too. I appreciate it.
Did.
And go check them out. The Waymores. Did we say the Waymores.com or Waymores.com? What is
TheWaymores.com.
TheWaymores.com. I'll make sure it's on there. Everybody, check them out. Have a great day today.
Thanks.
You too.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to StrongWriter on the radio, as heard on the Dean Olson radio program and heard all across America on Power Me Up Radio, powered by Raven International.